Cricky, another hard-fought game here at Inver, but another 3 points to go with it.
Yeah, no, the boys are absolutely delighted. We knew obviously coming into the game it was going to be a tough one, but I think our performance in the first half was, probably up there with the best so far this season. So yeah, like I said, we're delighted, and home in 3 points.
And games in this league, you're not going to have it your own way the whole time. That certainly wasn't the case tonight. We had to do both sides of the game, but I think we ran out worthy winners in the end.
Yeah, no, like I say, I think our first half performance really set the tone. They're a good side. They got some quality players, and it's at times you are going to have to defend. And the second half we had to do that a wee bit more, but I think we showed that we can do both sides of it.
And we're sitting with a number of players still on the sidelines and in the stand, not able to be involved at the minute. Does it bode well to be able to pick up wins like last week and tonight, even though we know players are still to come back?
Yeah, momentum's key, and right now I think we're building that, and probably at a good stage as well. Like you say, with players that come back in, so those players coming in know that they have to work hard once they're back in the training pitch to get into the team.
And some players with their first goals of the league season tonight, Benji McGee and Dan Bent right at the end, and goals give people like that a lot of confidence too, don't they?
Yeah, well done to the two lads. I think Benji, obviously the past few weeks he's been getting closer, so I'm delighted for him. I actually said to him before the game I felt he was going to score, and like I said, delighted for him to get the goal. And obviously Big Dan had a few in pre-season, but it was good for him coming back from suspension, they had that as well. And
yourself, you're getting through a lot of work and a lot of 90 minutes at the minute, especially maybe with some of the players who are missing in that area of the pitch. How are you finding things?
No, I'm loving it. Obviously as a player you want to play as much as you can and every minute if possible, and I'm lucky enough to be in a position that I'm staying fit and healthy, and I'm doing that and able to contribute to the team.
Gary Haveron was praising your performance and singled you out to talk about you at different times as well. You feel so your influence within the team is growing as the weeks go on this season?
Yeah, I just try and look after myself as best I can, and like I said, I think I said in an interview before, try and perform at 100% as much as I can for the team, and it's all about helping the team at the end of the day, and individual performances doesn't really matter as long as we get the win.
And there's nothing won or lost at this stage of the season, but if we can continue to put wins together, it helps to lift us up into the part of the table we want to be, and as you say earlier, that builds momentum ultimately.
Yeah, like you say, and I said to myself, momentum's key. I think obviously if you look back to last year, we were doing a lot of chasing, so I think it's important that we obviously stay in touch and put the pressure on the teams above us.
Next week, 2 games, Queen's in the County Antrim Shield and then away to Bangor as well. It's important to carry on that momentum and to try to continue to win games if we can.
Yeah, I think, like I say, the momentum's the key word here. You want to be bouncing into games, thick and fast, and that's what's happening for us. So quicker we can get those games as well. There's players coming back from injury and suspension, which is key for us, and we're only going to be in a stronger position after. So yeah, pick up 3 points tonight is excellent, and then we roll into the next one after a few days rest.
Super. Gary, another good victory for the side tonight. How did you see that one?
Yeah, I thought, especially in the first half again, I thought we came out of the traps really, really quick. We played some lovely free-flowing football, and maybe we should have got a bigger advantage than the 1-0 lead that we had at half-time, albeit, a really soft penalty we give away. The man's going away from goal and no threat, and it's a silly one for us, but like I say, Ro was outstanding, as Ro always has been, and he's been outstanding for us since he came to the football club. He's a brilliant goalkeeper, and he stood tall, and he made the save. If we'd have gone in at half-time without an advantage, it would have been a misjustice because of how well we played. They came out the second half and had a go. And they had a go and they turned it into an Irish League game, and they went back to front and threw big men up front and asked questions of us, but when we had to roll our sleeves up we stood tall, and my disappointment is we haven't killed the game off earlier in the counter-attacks that we had and the breakaways we had, and we haven't really. It was small margins. It was a toe. It was like just an overhit pass. It was very, very small margins. But again, the willingness to do the running, to run from one end of the pitch to the other, was absolutely fantastic from the boys tonight. And like I said, they dug in, and in the end, they got the rewards.
Yeah, it felt like a game maybe that ebbed and flowed at times. That first half an hour, as you say, maybe we were disappointed that we weren't further than a goal ahead, and then Ballymena came into it quite strongly, and we had to probably show the other side of it. We didn't give up a lot of chances, but we had to stand tall and make sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, this is the Irish League. That's what it's about. It's every game in that there's an absolute challenge and a battle. They're coming in the back of 3 wins, 9 points in that. They're in the first 3 games, full of confidence, full of legs, and they're fresh at this time of the season. So we knew in that they were a good side, and they were going to come here and battle hard for the points. But ultimately, like I said, over the course of the game and clear-cut chances and that, and box entries what we had, I thought we were the better team.
You've mentioned it already, but Rowan Ferguson makes that save right in the stroke of half time. Those are big moments in the game, aren't they? And especially at a pivotal time, just like that, right before the break.
Yeah, big players with big moments. And Rowe's bigger. They don't come any bigger than Rowan Ferguson. He's absolutely been outstanding. I have to say, I thought the 2 centre halves were man mountains tonight for us. Matt Ridley, Ryan Nolan stood tall to everything they threw at us. I can't help but feel like it was crazy the amount of cards that got handed out for very, very little. Absolutely crazy for both teams. So it's a ridiculous amounts of cards given the game wasn't played in that fashion. Competitive, yes, absolutely, but some of the yellow cards are questionable. But like I say, we stuck to the task in that there. Tomas was brilliant tonight. Shawnee Graham was brilliant tonight whenever they needed to be called upon. And whenever we had the quality in that there, the boys flew free flowing and going from one side to the other and sweeping it through. Really, really exciting to watch again, you know. So they had people on the edge of their seats, and that's what we want to do.
And as you said, we threatened to make it 2-0 a couple of times before we did in the 94th minute, and it was a lovely finish, first time finish by Dan Bent as well.
Yeah, listen, he was very unfortunate because he did a mountain of work at Cliftonville and then got sent off in the last sort of moment of the game, and Benji just came in and grabbed it with both hands as the opportunity. So he's very, very unfortunate not to be in the starting lineup, but he never moaned about it, never complained about it. He's a really, really good professional, international player. You know, when he showed all his class and all his composure just to slot the ball in the back of the net. And listen, he'll be a big, big player for us this season. Experience-wise, calm head, gives his physical presence, you know, and he gives his legs for fun. So listen, it's great to have Dan with us, and he showed his class there tonight.
Two players you brought off the bench a little bit earlier in the second half. One was Dan and one was Conor McKendry. One scores, one hits the crossbar. Does that show the importance of a sort of growing depth that when players are starting to come back from suspension like those two were?
Yeah, for sure. We desperately want to get everybody back as quick as we can. You know, we will hopefully in that they have Jordan McAnuff back next week. We're aging closer, 2 games next week. We'll see Paul O'Neill a suspension finish. After that, then we've got Aaron Donnelly's only one on suspension. But after the Bangor game, Leroy Miller, who we was all sitting around on tenterhooks waiting for him to come back, is very, very close. And the Glenavon game is something we've penciled in for him. So it is, he'll need to get his match fitness up, so manage the expectation on Leroy, but having him even in the dressing room around the group is absolutely fantastic. But having all them boys in around the group again is absolutely huge. So if we can keep doing what we're doing, keep getting results, keep getting clean sheets, keep playing good football, then these guys not there are going to come back in at a really, really good time for us.
And just finally, last question of this transfer window anyway, but it's coming up soon. Any more likely ins and outs? We saw 3 leave on loan this week, but any more business likely to be done?
Yeah, no, listen, it was a tough decision to let the boys go out on loan because they're young players and they're hungry to do well at this football club. You know, they want to stay here and contribute. Of course they do. I felt it was unfair to keep someone like Josh Key, who's so talented, you know, to keep him on the bench and not get the minutes his talent probably deserved. I think it's really, really beneficial for him to go to a good club like Glenavon, a good manager like Paddy, who will look after him. That he understands what it's like in the Premier League, because he was outstanding in the Championship. He's taken the jump up to the Premier League, and they're going to afford him the game time that we probably can't at the minute just yet. So it is, but he's a big future ahead of him at this football club. Oisin Devlin was one. Bangor made the approach, and again, Oisin, for how he plays the game and that robustness that he has and the energy that he plays with, you know, and it's something that. But again, he's another one like Josh. He needs to play games of football. You know what I mean? There's no point bringing him on 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. He's vastly experienced in that they're only 18 years of age, because he's been first team player, so he's frustrated that he doesn't maybe get the minutes in that there. So to have him go out there and get regular game time is only going to benefit the boy. He's going to come back 10 times better player in that there for just having the experience like he did when he went to Ballymena previously. So yeah, listen, it's really, really important these boys go out and they show all their qualities and that they're clubs that they've been loaned out to. And young Dan and that again, he needs to taste first team football, 20s football, and that is what it is. It's for developing our younger players. It's for our 17, 18 year olds and that they're experienced playing against on occasion senior players, playing against boys that physically stretch them. You know, that's what 20s football is. So again, we always sit down and we look at it and what's the benefit to the player and where do they need to be playing. And Dan's one of these ones. He's showing his qualities when he trains with the first team that he's ready for men's football. So he goes out to Queens and that, and luckily enough he won't play against us on Tuesday, as Ambrose Ajala, who's out scoring goals for Queens and doing ever so well and reaping the benefit of the loan system. You know, as is Logan Graham, who's out at Port Stewart, Callum Cowan out at Port Stewart as well. The two lads are seeing what men's football is all about, you know what I mean, and seeing what 3 points means, and they're two outstanding lads and brilliant lads and that there, and they get the head down, they work hard. When they come back into the first team environment, you know, they're hungry and that there for more, so it bodes well.